A squared plus B squared equals, hang on, wait, no, I know this one. Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, and that you are having a great day. And in today's video, I'd like to sit back in my very squeaky chair, relax, and have a little conversation with all of you guys about collecting, investing, time, war, and the idea that, you really should cherish what you have. What the hell am I talking about in today's video? You see, from time to time, when you're in investing parts of the internet, when you're talking to various in certain parts of the internet, you'll occasionally see people bringing up things along the line of, oh, it's not worth it to hoard sealed product long term because everybody's doing it. And if everybody's doing it, then when it comes time to cash out down the road, well, then, everyone's going to be dumping their sealed product at once, so it's all going to go to zero. It's all going to be worthless. They'll talk about how we might be in the modern junk wax era of TCGs. There's so many cards printed for so many card games to the point where it's all going to be worthless retroactively at some indeterminate point in the future. And then another angle they'll approach this from is, well, some major war could happen and all of your investables, collectibles will be worthless because the needs of war will completely destroy any interest in collecting when survival will be the most important thing. And these are, I think, three different points of interest that I all bear responding to, but they all do kind of work with one another when it comes to discussing whether or not you think, not me, think holding on to something long-term is a good idea. So let's talk about one of the most important factors for older collectibles that a lot of people care about: condition. Lots and lots of people care about the condition of their collectibles. It is why third-party authentication and grading services have become so prominent in the industry. It's why, especially for a lot of older cards, video games, etc., people really do, the high-end collectors, I should say. Oh, and toys. Toys is a huge one. Coins is a huge one. Comic books, obviously. So it's not just trading cards. It's comics, toys, video games, coins, and a few other collectible categories. Condition matters a lot to some collectors. Not all collectors. There's plenty of collectors out there who just want the item for what it is. They don't care three squat about what its condition is. But you'll find more and more often that newer collectors especially put a lot of care and a lot of attention to the condition of the item. Part of why this matters is as items age naturally, as a part of the aging process, fewer and fewer copies of that item are going to be in the best condition. Yes, let's say that 100 people have taken a booster box of, Destined Rivals, okay? 100 individuals have one box of Destined Rivals each. Let's say that this represents the entire Destined Rivals market. It is now release day for Destined Rivals. 50 of those 100 people have received their box of Destined Rivals and have cracked it open. They want the stuff inside the box. They don't care about collecting whatsoever. They don't care about sealed product. The other 50 have decided that they are going to hold on to their box for the long term, whether that's 5 years in the future, 10 years in the future, or after they've passed on and left the box to their kids 20 years in the future, They could hear the argument that, half of the available product for Destined Rivals is being squared up and held by these individuals. So when it comes time to sell in the future, it's all going to they're all going to be competing for value. They're going to have to race to the bottom, so to speak. But that's not exactly true. You see, those 50 people, they're not all at the exact same time going to put their Destined Rivals out of market. Some of them are going to wait a year or two, see it go up a bit, and they're going to sell it. Some of them aren't even going to wait a year or two. They're going to say they'll hold on to it long term, and then something happens, and they decide for one reason or another that they just want to crack it, and they crack the box open. So it's 49 instead of 50, or 48, 47, 46. Some people will sell after a year, 2 years, 5 years. 10 years, and then a small amount, 5 to 10 of them, probably won't be cracked because they'll be lost or stolen or destroyed in a house fire or something. Things to consider. So yes, while at the initial onset of the release, 50 Destined Rivals boxes were squared away for the future, not all of those for the future boxes are actually going to see that future date of selling the product. They're just not. They're not going to see it at the same time. They're not going to be sold at the same date to the same existing market under the same market conditions. They are going to slowly, over years, bleed out into the market. So this idea that, oh, so many people are investing in sealed product, therefore in the future it's not going to be worth as much. That's just not, it's not necessarily true. Then there's this idea that, let's talk about just the two of them. Let's talk about that one and the war thing, because that one I think is very much, it's such a strange out there thing to argue, such a strange thing to say about collectibles, because some of the most iconic collectibles we know about are things like coins and things like old baseball cards. Here's the thing. Let's talk about 1890s currency or 1910s baseball cards. These are items that have loads of collector value. These are some of the most expensive items out there in the collector's world. You know, vintage currency has a huge premium for some people. They go to extreme lengths to collect it. Not just American currency, but foreign currency as well. Silver coins, foreign silver coins, gold currency, regardless of nation of origin, and baseball cards, old vintage baseball cards. You see it in the news from time to time that some ancient card has got a brand new explosive price point, right? In the years since, I don't know, 1910, a baseball card released in 1910, there's been world wars, catastrophic world wars, depressions, recessions, market upheavals, and through all of it into today, those are still collectible items that people value. You see, loud truck. Time and political, economic, geopolitical upheavals, they don't destroy collectors' markets, they reinforce them. Why? Well, because if you take into account the people who squared away stuff for later and combine that with things like geopolitical tensions and chaos on the world stage, long term, that means less product for everyone who might want that product in the long term. 100 years from now, okay? 100 years from now, do you honestly think that there's going to be thousands upon thousands of Destined Rivals boxes out there on the market? I don't know why I'm choosing Destined Rivals. It could have been anything. I don't know. Could have been anything. Let's say Battle of Chaos. Do people still hate Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Has the Yu-Gi-Oh bull run happened yet? I hope so. Battle of Chaos. Yu-Gi-Oh! Battle of Chaos. Fun set. You know, do you think in 100 years there's going to be thousands upon thousands of Battle of Chaos sealed boxes out there in near mint condition that haven't been damaged by poor storage combined with house fires, combined with looting, combined with cracking, etc.? You know, 100 years from now, stuff that came out now isn't going to be as populous as people think it is. Sure, it's not going to be as rare and as desirable as stuff from 100 years ago, because that's just how time works. The stuff from 100 years ago will have that 100-year head start to appreciate and value and desirability. But the stuff now, 100 years in the future, it's going to be rarer, scarcer, harder to find in good condition than the stuff releasing in 100 years. That's just a fact of life. And, you know, obviously collectors who are investing now aren't going to see that 100 years, but it doesn't have to be 100 years out. It can be 20 years, 10 years. You know, there are people right now out there on the collector's market who are astounded at the price jumps that some old products have had that aren't even a quarter of a century old. You know, there are 10-year-old products for some card games, 15-year-old products for some card games that have had astronomical returns in terms of sealed box value. And people are genuinely surprised when they see this. when they really shouldn't be, because as time naturally goes on, sealed product naturally becomes more scarce. And yes, there's going to be that one guy out there who has 1,000 boxes of Destined Rivals, 10,000 boxes of Battle of Chaos, 100,000 boxes of Champions of Mirrodale, the Neopets Battledome TCG expansion that you should be playing right now. There's going to be people, obviously, out there who have sealed stuff, but they represent such a small percentage of the population that are interested in this collectible space that it's, in the long term, not that substantial. You know, let's say that one guy has 1,000 boxes. If there's 2,000 people who are interested in that box, that means there's not enough to go around. 3,000 people, even less. The more people who are interested, and the smaller the percentage of the population that actually has the product, do the math. Part of the secondary market for TCGs, collectibles in general, is supply and demand. And the smaller that percentage of demand, the smaller the percentage of supply is in relation to the percentage of demand, the greater the disparity is. And time only makes that worse. So yeah, sure, you know, there's hundreds of people out there who are squirreling away Yu-Gi-Oh boxes, Pokemon boxes, Magic boxes, Flesh and Blood boxes, One Piece boxes for the future. But there's also way more people who just want to crack this stuff. Way more people who just want to get the product for as cheap as they can, to rip it open and try to find the cards they're looking for. That's just a fact of life. And sure, you know, there is the idea that one day maybe all of these collectibles could just not be desired for one reason or another. Maybe the entire trading card market crashes because of massive overprinting across the big three companies. You know, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, and Pokemon absolutely tank the hell out of their card games through massive overprinting, leading to a junk wax era across the TCG world, destroying consumer and investor faith in it. So everything becomes devalued to hell, and everybody flees the industry. That won't devalue all of it. That won't devalue all the sealed product that has been appreciating well for years. There's dead TCGs that nobody has any interest in that have quite the price tag attached to them. There's the oldest examples of those major TCGs, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, that even today, look at Yu-Gi-Oh. You know, look at Yu-Gi-Oh. The amount of interest in the Yu-Gi-Oh secondary market for the game is, to be very honest, not great. But the oldest examples of Yu-Gi-Oh, the most collectible and desirable cards from Yu-Gi-Oh, despite the waning interest in the card game itself from a collector's standpoint, those old cards still have quite the premium attached to them. They're still the vintage, still the rarest and oldest examples of the game, and so they have naturally appreciated much better than their later contemporary counterparts. And the same is true of any card game. The oldest and best examples of the TCG are going to be the best. Look at Flesh and Blood and its WTR Alpha Packs. Look at the older Weiss Schwartz boxes from 10 years ago. Look at, what was it? Something Valhalla. The oldest, I can't remember what the oldest set for Force of Will was. I had a box or some packs forever ago. What was the first Force of Will set in America? I do not remember. But that stuff is like, even the commons in that set are crazy expensive. The older an item is, and you know, just to repeat this, the older an item is and the scarcer it is, the rarer it is, the harder it is to get in a good condition. In theory, you know, just so we're all clear here, in theory, the better it will do in the long term. Whether that long term is 5 years, 10 years, or a century. You know, who's to say? But a good rule of thumb for the people investing and interested in TCGs since the 90s is sealed product is a good investment. And I think that is going to continue to be true for a very long time. Until, you know, again, something could change, the junk wax era could be upon us, and everything could be printed into oblivion. Maybe everything enters the hyper bear market and lasts for 10 years and not a single piece of sealed product goes up. But even then, I'd still say that sealed product is probably the best choice of the available options, all things considered. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely crazy. And everything I think is hogwash. Let me know in the comment section below. I feel like this has gone on long enough, so let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you agree with me, disagree with me, think I'm crazy, or like my beard? Let me know. Please like, share, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. Check out the Discord. Come chat with us. I will see you kiddos in the next one. Ciao.